You guys seem to like the tier list that I did yesterday, so today I'm back with another one. It's less of a tier list, it's more of an underrated, overrated, properly rated, but I wanted to do a visual representation of it rather than just pulling up fighters' profiles, because I think this is more interesting to look at. I mean, we got a shit emoji, you know what I'm saying? We've got the joy emoji, we've got Darren Till down here. I just got fucking cut from the UFC, lad. I'm fucking out of the UFC, mate. I'm gonna fight in fucking PFL. Anyways, I don't know if that's real, but I hope not. I hope Darren Till's in the UFC. Anyways, today I'm going to be ranking fighters. Underrated, overrated, properly rated in every style. Okay, so strikers. We've got boxers, we've got kickboxers, we've got jiu-jitsu, and we've got wrestling, okay? Every style in the UFC, I'm going to be going overrated, underrated, properly rated, okay? Starting off with the boxers. For my overrated boxer in the UFC, the most overrated boxer in the UFC is Max Holloway, okay? You cannot be the best boxer in the UFC and have absorbed the most significant strikes. I'm sorry, dude. That's just not how it works. And even when Max Holloway has great performances, I've seen him get outstruck, outboxed by Jose Aldo. I've seen him get outstruck by Yair Rodriguez. I've seen him get outstruck by Volkanovski 3 times. Especially in the boxing. The boxing, particularly in the third Volkanovski fight. I'm sorry, bro. You're not the best boxer in the UFC. That's what Island it is. Even in the Calvin Kattar fight, which kind of earned him the moniker, right? Um, he looked good. He looked really good. It was one of his best performances. I really, really enjoyed that fight. I'm not gonna shit on that fight. However, even against the corpse of Calvin Kattar, because come on, in round 5, Calvin Kattar was like a body with like his controller got disconnected and he was still there. The AI took over. Right? The AI on easy mode took over. He was still getting tagged, bro. Go watch it back, dude. He was still getting tagged and he was still getting hit with big shots. So, for being considered one of the best boxers in the UFC, I have to put him in overrated. He's still a great boxer. He's still a great fighter, okay? Underrated boxer in the UFC. I'm going to go with Islam Makhachev, okay? Boxing is called the sweet science for a reason. It's not just hitting. It's not getting hit. And if you check the statistics, if you watch Islam Makhachev fight, even against Volkanovski, he's incredibly smart with his boxing. He has a good jab. He's very defensively sound. He's very hard to hit. He has a good Philly shell. He has good head movement. He has a good shoulder roll. He's got a really nice check hook that's coming along. He won rounds against Alexander Volkanovski on his feet as well. He's one of the best. Volkanovski's one of the best strikers the sport has ever seen. So I think to not consider Islam also a very good fighter, a very good boxer, is wrong. So I'm going to put him as an underrated boxer because I don't really see a lot of praise for him, okay? And properly rated in the boxing category. We're going to go with Peter No Mercy Yan, okay? Everybody knows the deal with Peter Yan. He's the best boxer in the UFC. He's got the hand speed. He's got the power. He's got the precision. He's got the defense. He's got the body work that you don't see a lot in the UFC. I really like that about him. Him and Jose Aldo have got great body work. I don't see Jack Della Maddalena's also got really good body work. I don't see it a lot in the UFC, which is really disappointing because I think it's very easy to finish fights with the body, especially in the high level. You can kind of condition your chin. You can kind of condition your head movement and all that stuff. You cannot condition your liver. So Peter Yan is just such a good boxer. He deserves to be considered one of the best boxers in the UFC, and rightfully so. Okay, now we're in the kickboxer section, okay? The kickboxing sector of the UFC. Rack your brain. Think about all the kickboxers in the UFC. Alright? My overrated. I think you know who it's going to be. I'm putting it Izzy here, dude. I'm putting fucking Izzy here, dude. He's got good fundamentals. He's got good rage control. But who is he fighting? And you know what? Cyril Gahn, I'm going to consider in this conversation as well. Who is he really fighting? He's fighting shorter, less credentialed, less technical. Guys, he's like Israel Adesanya's barely beating. Apparently, he's putting on masterclasses, but it's 49, 46, 48, 47. The most boring decision ever. Nothing's really getting done. Izzy fans dude, you guys don't really know real fighting. If you actually watch the fight, if you watch minute 23, he actually lands a really good jab. Dude, shut the fuck up, bro. Literally, he's a good counter striker. He has good kicks. He's got a good jab, but he's been outstruck by opponents that shouldn't have a chance on the feet against him, right? He's so good, right? Why is he getting outstruck by Kelvin Gastelum? Why is he getting outstruck by Robert Whittaker, who's way shorter? Why is he getting outstruck by fucking Jan Blachowicz? Why is he getting finished by Alex Pereira, right? If he's so much better, if he's the best fucking kickboxer in the UFC, if nobody can touch him, he's like the Floyd Mayweather of MMA. Why? Because he's not that good. Like he's good, but he's like, people hype him up like he's this fucking goat. Sorry, buddy. That ain't the case. Underrated. I'm gonna go with maybe a surprising pick, but maybe not that surprising. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Jamal Hill. Dude, Jamal Hill has come along in leaps and bounds in his last two fights. Like his defense is getting better. He was having pull counters against Glover Teixeira. The head kicks, obviously, he's shown more patience. He's shown a better fight IQ recently, compared even in the difference from the Thiago Santos fight to the Glover Teixeira fight. His fight IQ improved. His clinch with his knees as well really, really impressed me. He's always had good boxing, good power, but man, his knees, his clinch, his leg kicks, his body kicks, his head kicks really have come along well. And I think he deserves some credit for his technique in that fight. Wasn't just his power, wasn't just his wrestling defense. His striking won him that fight. So I'm going to say Jamal Hill is right now underrated, but I think he's going to get his respect soon if he stays champ. Okay, and properly rated. All right. It's Wonder Boy, dude. We all know Wonder Boy is that guy, bro. He's one of, if not the best all-around striker in the UFC. You know, if you want to go just on kickboxing, you want to go just on karate, you want to go just on striking as a whole, Wonder Boy's him. You know, he's got an undefeated kickboxing record, and he backs it up in the UFC too. He's not like a guy who's outside of the UFC considered this great kickboxer, and in the UFC you don't really see it. You're like, what the fuck? Okay. He's still doing it too. He's dominating guys like Kevin Holland that a lot of people picked to beat him. He's dominating Jeff Neal. No one saw that coming. You know, all these guys. So Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, properly rated, properly respected, rightfully so. He's the best striker in the UFC on paper, in my opinion. Okay, now we're in the jiu-jitsu. Okay, now we're in my world. We're in the grappling. Okay, and look, for my overrated, there's a lot of choices here. There's a lot of people that I considered for this role, but I decided to give the honor to one man and one man only. I'm going to go with Michael Chiesa. Okay, now I know this label has kind of gone, but for a while, and I think still to some people, Michael Chiesa is considered like this great wrestler, like he's this badass grappler, and he's pretty good. But I mean, all of his losses have been submissions, and that's not a coincidence. It's at the point where it's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. You're not going to fool me again, as George Bush once said. But no, it's like, how many times does this guy have to get submitted for us to go, dude, okay, maybe he's not this fucking monster grappler, and sometimes he looks like it, and then sometimes he doesn't. I don't know if it's fight IQ, maybe it's just a lack of defensive awareness in his grappling. I don't know what it is. You know, he's got good control, he's got really good limb manipulation, like he gets that inside Dagestani kind of handcuff, he can really extend you with those. He's very good at getting the back. But as a whole, do I consider him one of the best grapplers in the UFC? When a lot of fans do, or a lot of fans would pick him based on that? I don't think so. And for that reason, I have to put him as overrated. This guy was ranked top 5, top 6 in 2 divisions. I don't understand. He's been submitted by fucking every, like, real opponent that he's fought, except for, like, RDA. And that was a small, coming out of lightweight RDA, too. So, bit overrated in my opinion. Underrated grappler. This was a tough one as well. There's a lot of people that I would say are underrated grapplers in the UFC. I'm going to go with Leon Edwards. That's 9 selections in a row now, bro. I'm not Canelo, bro. I'm a grappler, bro. Leon Edwards is actually a fucking good grappler, dude. I feel like no one really considered... A lot of people pick him, especially because of his last fight. I think a lot of people think of him as a striker. And he is predominantly a striker. He is mainly a striker, but... Shit, if you watch him fight, he's wrestling a lot of these dudes. He's grappling a lot of these dudes. It's not just wrestling. It's not just clinching. He's got good takedowns. He takes him down in the clinch. He takes him down in the open. And he's really good at getting the back. Like, he got Nate Diaz's back. He absolutely dominated Gunnar Nelson on the ground. He was manhandling Nate Diaz on the ground. That's not an easy thing to do. There's grapplers in this division, like Michael Chiesa. You're telling me Michael Chiesa wouldn't get submitted by Nate Diaz somehow? You're telling me you wouldn't be a little bit, like, not surprised if Michael Chiesa got submitted by fucking Gunnar Nelson? You're not, okay? And if you are, you're lying to yourself, dude. Come on, bro. You know, bro. All right, so Leon Edwards is a very, very good grappler. We saw it against Kamaru Usman. You know, I think he's a better grappler than Usman. Pure jiu-jitsu. That's not really debatable. But overall, Leon Edwards doesn't really get respect as like this threatening grappler. Like when you watch him against high-level jiu-jitsu guys, he's in control. He really is dominant. So that's my pick for underrated and properly rated. Okay, I think he's finally getting his respect, even if it's kind of begrudging, even if he's kind of memed. Aljamain Sterling, dude. Everyone knows that Aljamain Sterling, if he gets your back, it's a wrap, and the chances of him getting your back are very much like high, very high. He's got great takedowns. He's very good at scrambling. That's probably his best weapon is his scramble, his ability to get the back, his strength, and he's not just a ground and pound guy. He's not just a dominant guy. He's pulled off solo UFC stretches. He's pulled off rear naked chokes. He can pull off cranks. He can pull off arm bars, triangles. He is a fully fledged jiu-jitsu fighter. He is a very, very high level grappler. And I think a lot of people recognize that. I don't think a lot of people are going to pick anyone on the ground against this guy. And I think a lot of people are kind of leaning him against Cejudo, so he's getting his respect, which I believe he deserves for his skills on the ground. All right, now last one. We're in the wrestling. Again, we're in my world. The wrestling, okay? The overrated wrestler in the UFC. And maybe this is just from my perspective, this is what I see a lot. So I got to call this guy out, bro. Marvin Vettori. I don't know who told people that this dude could fucking wrestle, but I don't know. I don't see it, bro. I see so many people picking this dude to beat fucking Pereira. People saying, "Oh, he out grappled Izzy. Dude, he submits Pereira in one round." Who the fuck has this guy Who the fuck has this guy submitted? Who is this guy out grappled, bro? Like, who is this guy dominated with his wrestling? Kevin Holland, bro. Dude, he out wrestled Kevin Holland. Yeah, okay. Fucking everyone can. Literally fucking everyone can. I legitimately wouldn't have been surprised if Stephen Thompson just fucking judo flipped him and like tapped him out. I would not have been surprised. Dude. Like your only submission I can think of is Carl Roberson, bro. Who's a kickboxer. I feel like people they hope this dude can beat Pereira because they don't like Pereira. I think Izzy fans kind of hoping this dude will beat Pereira. He's not going to, dude. His wrestling is the most basic level shit. He relies completely on his cardio, his durability, his physicality. But you look at the abilities, you look at the technique or the timing, it's not there, dude. He's getting completely out-wrestled by Paulo Costa. You know, he has nothing for Robert Whittaker. He has nothing for any of these other guys in the division in terms of grappling. And especially in terms of wrestling. He just holds them against the cage. He got Izzy. That's looking less and less impressive. Pereira took down Izzy too. Way quicker. Like Pereira took him down too. You're not that good. So I just think a lot of people overrate Marvin Vettori's wrestling. He's good. He ain't a fucking good wrestler, bro. He holds them against the cage. He never submits anyone. He's not aggressive at all. He has no technique. He has no timing. Underrated wrestler. Someone who does have technique, who does have timing, who isn't considered a good wrestler or isn't really considered as a wrestler, is more of a striker. Tom Aspinall. He's a great fighter. Dude, Tom Aspinall, obviously considered a striker, right? He's got a 100% finish rate in the UFC. Pretty good guy. But when you watch him fight, you realize he's got a high level of, mixing the two. That's what he's so skillful at. That Alexander Volkov fight just replays in my mind whenever I think of Tom Aspinall. Late at night, and I'm sitting there, I'm just thinking about, I want to fight Blagoy Ivanov. I want a tough fight. I don't want to be a hype train. I want to take things slow. That's what I think about. That Volkov fight, dude. He can mix in the takedowns, and it's not just the good takedown like he did against Arlovsky or like I said against Volkov or Spivak, any of that stuff. It's the timing. He's got the timing, he's got the technique. He doesn't use energy to take these guys down. A guy like Marvin Vettori is trying to use energy to take you down. Even a guy like Colby Covington, Bilal Muhammad, they kind of use their energy to take you down. Tom Aspinall is so skillful because he doesn't use energy to take you down. He uses timing, he uses technique, and that's what great wrestlers do. Good wrestlers, they can just grind you out and take you down. Great wrestlers, they don't need to do that to you if you'll let them. They'll take you down easy without having to do it, you know? Obviously, there's great wrestlers in the UFC that use that volume on purpose. Like, they are great, but they use that volume. But, man, Aspinall's technical ability to get takedowns with his IQ, you know, his grappling as well. He's an underrated wrestler, and I think he deserves more respect for his wrestling, his timing, his technique. properly rated wrestler in the UFC. There's a lot of guys to consider. There's a lot of guys to consider. Damn, I almost want to change my pick, bro. I almost want to change. You know what? Fuck it. I was gonna put Colby Covington. You don't care about Colby Covington. Curtis Blades, bro. I feel like he's borderline underrated, but more properly rated. He's more properly rated. I think a lot of people know that if Curtis Blades is fighting you and he doesn't choose to strike with you, there's a good chance he's going to win by taking you down, grounding you out, holding you down. He's not necessarily the most aggressive guy on the ground, but his wrestling, for a heavyweight too, it's not just his size. Like, he's fought big guys like Shamil Abdurakhimov, Overeem, all these guys, and his striking coming along is going to help his wrestling even more. And I'm going to do a video about Curtis Blades versus Sergey Pavlovich because I got some stuff to say about that. But overall, I think everybody knows that Curtis Blades is the best wrestler in this division. And if you don't, he is, bro. He is the best wrestler in this division. Technique-wise, he uses his strength-wise, but also the fact that he can time you. He can just force it on you. He can do all the things that overrated and underrated grapplers do. And I think everybody knows that he is the biggest threat to pure strikers in the division. Like, I think a lot of people would pick him against Cyril Gane if they knew he wasn't going to strike with him. So that's my tier list. That's my ranking of underrated, overrated, properly rated. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below, boys. Alright, drop a like if you enjoyed this shit. And yeah, subscribe, bro. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.